Welcome to Wick's How to Lay Laminate Flooring. Before we get started, let's run through the tools and materials you'll need for this project.
Tools: miter saw, flooring tools, jemmy, square, snap-off knife, tape measure, pencil, goggles, face mask, knee pads. Materials: laminate flooring underlay, threshold strip, skirting.
Laminate flooring can be laid on any smooth, flat surface as long as it is dry, firm and level. Fix all screws and punch nails firmly below the surface. A new concreted floor must be completely dry. Condition the boards before fitting by laying them horizontally in the room in their packaging for at least 48 hours before use. And please ensure you read the instructions thoroughly and carefully before fitting your floor.
Like most jobs, preparation is key. Ensure the surface is free of loose material. You should also check existing screeds and concrete for moisture. This can be carried out using a moisture meter, or alternatively, sheets of polythene approximately 1 metre square can be taped onto the screed and a heavy weight placed on top for 24 hours. The screed will discolour or moisture will appear under the polythene if there is any present. If this happens, you should stop and seek expert advice.
Remember, the last row you install must be at least 10 centimetres wide. So if you need to adjust the first row to compensate, you must calculate that before you begin. If you need to remove the skirting, you should do that now.
Select a suitable underlay. This should be clear from the underlay pack. If you are fitting on a solid subfloor, for example concrete, you must use a damp-proof membrane. Remove soft-laid floor coverings, for example carpet and vinyl, and remember, this flooring must be laid as a floating floor and not glued or fixed down. Never use carpet underlay under laminate flooring.
Lay your underlay across the room at 90 degrees to your laminate flooring and butt the joints. With this underlay, it should not be necessary to tape the joints. Now it's time to lay your laminate flooring. The planks should be laid lengthways parallel to the longest side of the room and towards the main incoming source of light, if possible.
Begin laying in the right-hand corner. Use a spacer to create a 10 to 12 mm expansion gap around the edge and start the row by placing the plank tongue to the wall. Fit the next panel short side, tongue over groove, and using a downward action, push the tongue of the second panel down into the first panel's groove. Listen for the click. The boards are now connected. Continue to complete the first row. Ensure the panels are perfectly in line. For the final plank of this row, place it face down as shown, tongue to tongue, using spacers to maintain the 10 mm gap on the short edge, and mark where the plank is to be cut. Cut to size face up using a miter saw. If you're using a jigsaw, cut face down. If the offcut is longer than 30 centimetres, this should be used to start the next row. This ensures minimum wastage, but also means that you can properly stagger the planks to achieve the correct finish. If the plank is too short, start the next row with a new plank cut in half. If you're fitting flooring around a pipe, I recommend using a spade drill bit and jigsaw. Fold the long edge profile tongue down into the groove of the previous row at a 45-degree angle. Continue to install by locating the next panel's long edge and sliding it along to meet the previous panel, then folding it down and clicking the short edge in as you do this. To lay the last row, position a loose plank exactly on top of the last row laid. Place another plank on top, with the tongue side touching the spacers along the wall to form the 10 mm expansion gap. Draw a line along the edge of this plank to mark the first plank. Cut along this and fit the board. using a jemmy to knock in the clip together mechanism. Use this method to cut and fit all the boards against the wall.
Once you've laid your flooring, you can cover the gap around the edge of your room with skirting. I've chosen a bare wood skirting here, which I highly recommend you prime and undercoat, not forgetting to treat the knots first of course, before fitting.
If you are using the trim option where skirting has not been removed, you need to choose a trim that matches your flooring and make sure you glue the trim to the skirting and not to the floor. Fix the threshold strip in the doorway. If there's a different type of flooring on the other side of the threshold strip, you must use a suitable type that will suit both floorings. For more information on laying laminate flooring or how to calculate the quantity of materials, you can refer to the DIY guides on wix.co.uk under the Help and Advice section. Good luck with your project.